Hello again, YouTube. My name is Bree, and in today's video, I am starting, I have a new sketchbook that I haven't shared with you previously. I've actually started it already, doing a couple little cat paintings. But in today's video, I'm doing a small painting, the first portrait painting in the sketchbook, of a character I'd like to do a larger painting of. I did not actually intend to share this, and actually this isn't even how I initially planned to start preparing for this painting, but the idea of doing thumbnails and little composition studies wasn't terribly appealing at the time, and I realized I still had to figure out what the character looked like. So I am doing a little watercolor sketch of the character The Fool from the Farseer Trilogy by Hobb. This is a character I've been wanting to paint since I read the books because I absolutely love him, and I read Farseer a while ago. I've since read Live Ship Traders, which follows it, and I'm now starting Tawny Man. So my desire to paint may change to a different scene, but that's okay. I do want to do this because I've been saying I'm going to do it. I want to practice preparing for a painting more instead of just diving in and painting something. So this is a good practice to get into. Like I said, this is definitely a sketch. It's something quick. I think this is actually the fastest painting I've done, because it only took maybe an hour, 15 minutes. Granted, he is a very, very pale character, so I didn't really need to build up a lot of layer and color. In fact, he's described as being so pale as to be white and colorless, which I've never painted a character like that, and I definitely needed to take that time and think through what that would mean in terms of paint. Granted, I didn't really plan to do a bigger piece in watercolor, so I'm not sure I'm helping myself out here too much, but it's still practice. It also means that this entire painting, this entire process is very faint, because I try to keep that kind of ghostly appearance. So I don't know if it makes a particularly interesting video, but it's something new I was trying, and I didn't really have the motivation to do something more this week. I just came off of crunch, software crunch, so I'm still exhausted, I'm recovering, and the whole being 4th of July here, there's been a lot of fireworks every night. I'm very jumpy, I don't like loud noises, so it's just, I haven't fully recovered and didn't want to commit myself to doing something big and then being all jumpy during it, because I usually film in the evening because I have complete control over my lighting situation. So yeah, kept this one nice and simple. Hope you don't mind. But yeah, it was a good little practice piece, and I enjoyed the process, and I learned a bunch. So not sure this is how I would proceed with this particular character in a different painting, but we'll see. I also clipped in somewhere a little cameo of my cat who sits on my lap while I paint sometimes, so that's coming soon. Just to make the video more interesting, and also because she was very disruptive, definitely wanted her pets, and I have to oblige. So for this painting, I'm using a new sketchbook. I finished my prior A6 sketchbook last month maybe. So I was ready to start a new one, and my friend Spofgh was so kind when she sent me the prior sketchbook with the different color pages. She also sent me this one, and I just started it a couple weeks ago, and I already love it. The paper is Saunders Waterford, but in traditional white. It's 100% cotton, and I've never used traditional white paper before. There is a bit of an adjustment for me because when I think white, I think, that pristine, pure white, but this is a lot easier on the eyes, especially when working directly under a light like filming, so I do like it. The paper itself is great. It holds up to a lot of abuse, and I look forward to working more in this little sketchbook. It's super cute. I love the bees on the cover, and I love the paper inside, so lots of paintings to come in here. Otherwise, I'm using the Mariah, Beth, and Fineliner Nerd watercolors once again, since I definitely was going for that cooler color palette. I also used a couple pans from my Schmincke watercolors, which you can see actually I think right now with my little Maggie cameo. I really only use Naples Yellow, Sepia, and Neutral Tint because I didn't want to add too much color, especially since he's colorless. But I needed to be able to neutralize the colors a little more easily because these paints are very vibrant, and it wasn't worth mixing to get those more neutral tones. And I didn't always want to add the dark to neutralize because I was going with very pale skin and wanted to keep it pale. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but yeah, so the Naples yellow helped neutralize the skin because the white in that paint, and then the sepia and neutral tint were useful just for adding a little bit of shadow to the face and the hair without adding too much color. Otherwise, I just tried to play a little bit with warm and cool to add a little variation without adding too much color. But once again, I'm not sure how much it worked out. This is a very faint painting for me, and it looks very unfinished, but I don't know what to really add to it without taking away from the character himself. Honestly, to some extent, I think I may have already used too much color. It's hard to say. Gotta think on it more. His outfits don't help. He's the court jester, I guess, and like his motley is described as being like red and blue or black and white, so there's a lot of color or contrast for such a pale character. But that's a problem for a different day because this is just a simple portrait, and while I was able to use the faint color for the motley in this particular one just to keep it simple, I probably wouldn't work in because, you know, he would be using rich fabrics. I don't know. Problem for another day. So yeah, if you've read this series, please don't spoil anything for me because, like I said, I am just on the Tawny Man trilogy now. I just started it 2 days ago, and I am completely hooked. I'm so excited about that book, and I have so many pages left to read. I think I'll take a break after Tawny Man to read some other things, and before getting into Rainwild's Chronicles, because I know I've heard mixed things, so I don't want to jump right into it because I know they're quite different. And then otherwise, I don't know. I am very excited. I'll be doing a landscape painting class again with Justin Donaldson soon, so my focus will be going a little bit more in the landscape and probably gouache direction, changing things up. But otherwise, I hope to see you again in 2 weeks in a new video, and that everyone's doing well, taking care of yourself. Bye.